Ms. Foley, is there a due process and equal protection aspects to statutes of limitations?
Well, I mean, statute of limitations can be, I guess, evaded, I suppose, in ways that could violate the due process or equal protection.
Well, and in fact, in this kind of a circumstance, that's what you see. We've got a situation where the alleged crime was committed in 2016, and they had to bootstrap it to something that occurred years later to try to resurrect what was really a dead case. And the way that I look at statutes of limitations as someone who practiced law for well over 30 years is that people have memory issues. That's why there's a statute of limitations. Can you remember what you were doing on June 13th, 7 years ago or 4 years ago? I'm sure Mr. Ambassador cannot.
Before I start my line of questioning, I just have to make a comment about something one of my colleagues said earlier on the other side of the aisle. There was implication made that E. Jean Carroll must have had memory problems. She couldn't possibly have remembered what happened to her. And I just am so incredibly shocked by that statement. I can tell you, when someone has been sexually violated, they don't forget who did it. A jury found him liable, him being the former president, for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll. Those are the facts. A jury found that. And I just think it's shocking that somebody on this committee would not only attack juries, we are the Judiciary Committee after all, the onslaught against juries on this committee is shocking to me, but also to use time in committee to further defame E. Jean Carroll. So shifting gears here, part of the Republicans' attempt to absolve former President Trump for his fraud conviction is the claim that former Justice Department official Matthew Colangelo was somehow dispatched to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to prosecute Trump. And one of my colleagues touched on this briefly, but I want to circle back around. I've heard my colleagues say in this hearing and others that because Mr. Colangelo took a job with the Manhattan DA after working at DOJ, and in that their eyes this was a pay reduction or career step down, that the only conclusion would be that he changed jobs to get Mr. Trump. People on this committee have asked the Attorney General specifically, how is it that a man, Matthew Colangelo, takes a pay cut and takes a cut in just, what is it he's doing for a living as far as prestige to go and join that case? This part of the theory is very revealing to me. It suggests that a person could never change jobs based on anything other than money or prestige. It seems that some of my colleagues have forgotten that public servants may take other things into account when navigating their career. Ambassador Eisen, thank you so much for being here. And the other witnesses, I should have said at the top, thank you for your time. Are you aware of any evidence that Mr. Colangelo was a mole dispatched by General Garland to the Manhattan DA's office?
No, there's none. The Attorney General has definitively debunked this conspiracy theory with his detailed letter that he sent to the committee. For good measure, when I came to work on committee staff with the ranking member and with the chairman in the first impeachment, I took a substantial pay cut. People are motivated by public service. I hope I was on that instance.
I'm not sure how much you worked with me, but you did work with the ranking member.
Mr. Chairman, notwithstanding our differences, I'd like to think that we've maintained a cordial relationship. We see it differently, but we're both trying to do the best for America. Sorry.
That's all right. That's
Sorry,
all right.
Ms.
It's important
Balint.
to have conversations. So you touched on it, but can you think of some other reasonable explanations for a lawyer taking a job that may not appear to be the next step in their career?
Mr. Colangelo has a long record of public service, including in the nonprofit sector. He had previously worked with Mr. Bragg in the AG's office. When you do have a new DA, he acquired a variety of responsibilities when he entered the DA's office. It's an opportunity, because the Manhattan DA is such an important role with New York as an American and global financial center. Another reason these 34 false records convictions matter so much. It was an opportunity to have an impact on the public good. I like to think that those kinds of motivations come into play.
And I think one of the challenges for my constituents home watching the work that we do here, watching the news, they all tell me they're exhausted. They don't want to watch anymore. They don't want to watch the news. They don't want to actually know what we're doing here anymore, because it feels like every single time they turn on the news, there is another bit of misinformation, another conspiracy theory, another nesting doll, as it were. And it makes it very difficult to find a way to cut through. And so, once again, there is no evidence of collusion involving Mr. Colangelo. Is that right, Mr. Eisen? Is there any evidence?
I hold an empty bottle. There's the same amount of evidence. None.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I yield back.